Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Microsoft Pulse. I'm here with Adam Ochs, Tom Duff, and myself, Tamara Bredemus, to bring you the latest on what's going on the Microsoft roadmap. We're going to break it down into in development, what Microsoft is working on now. Then we're going to go into rolling out what you should start seeing in your tenant. And today, there is nothing launched and there is nothing canceled. So, Adam, do you want to get us going on what's in development?
Sure, I'll start with one easy one, then I'll give you guys some time so I don't just take all the easy ones. But I'm sure everyone was excited when they saw this. You'll now be able to hide the general channel in Teams. Um,
Woohoo!
yeah, for real. Like for anyone who's used Teams, having to explain to new people coming into 365, no, the general channel is just there and it's okay over and over again. Having the ability to go through and actually hide that to where they can just create the channels that they want people to focus on, that's going to be cool. I see that as a big win. I see a lot of people using this. It's scheduled for February of this year, so next month. So I was definitely excited when I saw that on the roadmap.
Very cool.
That is a big one. Tom, what do you got that's bringing you joy today?
So this could be interesting. It could be something where it's like just because you can doesn't mean you should. And that is two of them together: SharePoint selection or section background and custom image as section background. So they're not going to allow you to add an image or a gradient color to a section of the page with a new set of options, which will have the images and the whole bit. Part of me is like, yeah, the gradients might be nice, but I can see a lot of people going background image, background image, background image, and it's going to be like the page threw up on them. So I like the idea. I'm hoping it appears okay. The gradient one is for GCC, GCC High, and DoD. Actually, it's to everybody. That's supposed to be in February. And then the one for custom image, and I'm not quite sure how that's different, but that's due for April. So that one I think is interesting. Tamara.
Great. I've got three in Microsoft Teams. One is present organizational backgrounds. Now, this is going to be in Teams Premium. And what it means is when enabled, the user will be able to present backgrounds defined by the IT department without the ability to change the background. So your marketing team will probably put them together, hand them off to IT. IT will put them in the system and you'll be able to select from them. Then also meeting options updates for webinars in Teams. The meeting options for the webinars are now going to be accessible within the webinar setup in Teams. This is so great because I've always had to go back and then edit the meeting options. Organizers can edit meeting options in an inline window within the scheduling form in Teams. Now, this is due out in February. So this is coming up. And then registration form updates in webinars. Organizers can rearrange the sequence of registration form questions that are presented to attendees during the webinar registration process. The questions available for reordering include address, city, state, zip code, country, region, job title, organization, industry, and my favorite, custom. Anyone
Tom, you
else
have
have
anything
anything in development that they want to bring up?
I had a couple, but I'll let you go first, Tom.
Oh, okay. So one that I want to make sure we don't miss, OneNote. Loop components are coming to OneNote. Yay! So this will be really nice, especially being that they're basically taking the wiki away from you and forcing
Yes.
you to use OneNote for your note taking and stuff like that. Just being able to have a OneNote and be able to put loop components in there. And if you shared your OneNote with multiple people, be able to collaborate in there. Awesome. I love that. The other one that I saw that I wanted to mention in that is in Outlook. Organize and reorder folders in the new Outlook for Windows and the Outlook in the web. They'll be able to arrange folders in any desired order you want them just by dragging and dropping rather than, oh, look, where's the alphabetizing here? And go from there. So looking forward to that one to be able to get the way the Outlook folders to be the way that you want it for your particular way of working.
So I'll do two relatively quickly. One of them is nice and easy. Bookings is coming to GCC High and DoD.
Yes.
If you haven't used Bookings before, it's something they developed originally for Office 365 for small business. It's basically a way that you could go in and like schedule appointments. You can actually do it to external users. So it'd be set up like, say I own a hair salon and I want people to be able to go in and schedule appointments to get their hair cut. Like that's what Bookings was originally designed for, people to be able to do stuff like that. But I've had clients use it for all sorts of cool stuff, like scheduling meetings with people with HR, or like, oh, they have someone who comes in that can help people talk about like, investment opportunities. It's a resource provided by the company, but you have to schedule time. Bookings can be used for stuff like that. The fact that it's coming to GCC High and DoD, I don't think a ton of people will necessarily use it, but for people that it will solve a certain need for, they'll use it and they'll really like it, which is just cool. It's always nice to have new features coming through. And the other one, I'm not even really entirely sure. I'm going to have to read up a little bit on this, but I think it's going to be a good thing. It's a Microsoft Intune, so Windows Enrollment Attestation. What this basically says is if you have a physical Windows device that is hard saving the login credentials in its hardware, and it specifies in its hardware. So what I think this is, so like for instance, if you have an Apple device that you purchase from Apple, you can tie that in through Apple Business Manager, where you tie that serial number to an individual user inside of your organization. And then it basically comes where that serial number automatically provisions services for that user. I don't know if it's going to be exactly the same, but what it's basically doing is going to put together a report that says if you are physically enrolling devices through Intune, through Windows enrollment, and there's going to be hard-coded credentials for a user in that hardware, which basically means they'll be physically tied to that computer. It basically is going to have a report and allow you to do that now. I'm just interested specifically that it specifies if it's like hard encoded into the hardware itself. Obviously, right now, if you get a laptop, you could just go into Windows enrollment and type in a user in your system and get them to enroll that way. So I want to research this a little bit more, but I think it's cool that there's potentially going to be a way that you can tie in the purchase to automatically be tied to individual users. That's a level of enterprise control we currently don't have. So if that's what it means, that could be really cool.
Very cool.
Great. Tom, anything?
Nope, I'm ready to go into rolling out.
Fabulous. Let's move to rolling out. Adam, what do you have?
Yeah, there's not a ton in rolling out. There's a ton of stuff in Teams that I imagine Tom's going to talk about. But there's one that's super nerdy that I wanted to talk about just because it's near to my heart. So a compliance portal related to data loss prevention. So it's apply Purview message encryption branding with DLP policy coming to the government clouds. So what this basically means is you can have custom branding templates for encrypted email that goes to external recipients that you can basically go in and tie in with your DLP. So right now, if I'm in a government cloud and I want to go through and say, oh, hey, this may be something that I need to encrypt on an external email, I could go and do that through an exchange transport rule, but you basically had to go through and individually manually go through and do it. There's basically going to add in functionality built into DLP that I can like upload my company logo and branding. And so if I'm sending secure information across, which a lot of customers in the government cloud are going to be doing, I basically have a more formalized enterprise controlled process that I can add branding and encryption based off of the content of the messages. Super cool. A lot of my clients going to use this. Was really happy to see this update in there.
Great. Tom.
Outlook, tracking read receipts from within Outlook on the web and the new Outlook for Windows. So developing the ability to use the updated read receipt status recipients from the sent item directly. So you don't have to go digging somewhere else to find it. You're just going to be able to go to the email, go sent, boom, who's looked at it? That's great. The other one I wanted to mention was if you're in Teams and you're trying to figure out, oh, I need to change my audio settings or my video settings and the whole bit, those are now, instead of being buried 4 deep in a menu, you're going to get a flyout. So when you go like over video or over device or whatever, there's going to be basically a flyout menu that has the information. You can easily set it and then pull it away and it flies back, and it'll just be easier to make changes on the fly without having to go find it somewhere while you're trying to talk at the same time.
Great. A couple things that have me happy is Microsoft Teams, the ability to set the availability by specific date in shifts. Currently, Microsoft solely permits the frontline worker to establish daily recurring availability. With this new feature, Microsoft is enabling frontline workers to set the availability for a specific date and time in addition to reoccurring availability. I think that's great. I think that's really going to help out people using shifts. And then I also was interested in discover feed for channels. So users can access a personalized feed based on important updates in the channel they are part of. I would like more of an explanation.
Tom, do you know anything about this Microsoft syntax thing that they have? It seems cool to me, but I haven't read anything on it. So it's basically an update that says Microsoft Syntax Translation, a new service that enables users to translate documents quickly and accurately among dozens of languages based on specific metadata or on demand. So I'm guessing like you could associate metadata to say like this is a file we need translated, and then the syntax service will go through and do it. But I don't.
Yeah,
It seems like it'd be cool, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but I think what it comes down to is, one, we don't play with it at our company because syntax costs money. And two, what this basically does is allows you to get that real-time translation for the different languages, and it will go ahead and do it, I believe, on a pay-as-you-go basis. So
Sure,
you don't
that's
have
cool.
to sign up for this, massive amount of translation, which may or may not ever get used. You can just say, hey, I need to have this one translated, gets translated, you're charged $5 for it, whatever, and you're good to go. So that's what I think it is, but I could be completely and totally wrong, and usually am. So
All right. Well, that's inspiring. So thank you. All right. Well, that is all the news that is fit to print. There's nothing in launch, nothing in canceled. I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Special thanks to Adam and Tom for joining us today. Yay, join us every day. Yay. Tom is here every day. Adam, we get as he's available because he is so popular. So
Yeah. Popular is a very interesting choice of words there.
popular.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, and have a great week. Bye now.
Bye, guys.